What was your initial reaction when you heard about the lockdown and school closures in March 2020?
Well, we were actually, when we first got wind of it, we were actually in school having the sixth class were being confirmed. They were having their confirmation. And we had the telly running in the corridor. So the rumours were going around. By the time the confirmation ended, we knew the schools were going to be closed from that day. So there was a slight sense of panic, and the kids were in school were just told, run up and get your books. So other than that, I sort of, it could be closed for a week or two. So as it dragged on and became obvious that it was a lot more serious, then the situation changed very, very radically. The initial was, very worrying and very confusing and just a very strange time for everyone.
How was the transition to online learning for you and your students? What challenges do you think you faced?
I think the main one they really felt was not seeing their friends, and also because a lot would be involved with GAA and various clubs, so they found that social interaction really difficult. And one little girl in my class, she actually said she didn't know what was wrong with her, but she was just sort of moody and tearful all the time. But, just that sense that she knew there was something wrong, but really couldn't articulate it. And then a few of them lost grandparents during lockdown, and that they found really difficult. And then the fact that, at funerals, there was a restricted number of people. They found that really difficult. I think the boys found it much easier to cope with than the girls, because a lot of I just got them all to write a general piece, but the girls, they found that isolation really, really difficult. We're a Desh school, and during the first lockdown, we continued to supply some lunches. So during that time, I got a chance to maybe visit with some of those children, just really to check that they were okay, but that was my worry for those kids who weren't engaging. I wasn't worried about their academic, success or failure, but I was really worried about, I suppose, their mental well-being.
Can you tell us about some of the experiences of your students during the lockdown and how it impacted them? Do you have any experiences that you can tell us about?
Well, one of mine said that she enjoyed sleeping in more, and she didn't have to worry about getting to school. So obviously for her, school isn't that positive an experience, So, and she would have been one of the ones who didn't engage. At school, they might feel they're not doing that well in school. So for them, being at home was, a lovely experience. But then on the opposite side of that coin, they then were trying to get the work done, so there was timetable to work, and then there was seesaw work. So I think maybe they found that a pressure. And then some children, both parents were working from home, and maybe there was an older sibling in secondary school. So there might have been, 4 of them maybe trying to work on two tablets or laptops or whatever. So again, there was that sort of problem, and then for a lot of the parents were very stressed about the whole situation, and a lot would come to me and they'd say, I'm trying to get the work done, but I'm working and I'm under pressure. And I was saying, if they do a bit of work, I wasn't putting them on and under any pressure.
In your opinion, what were the main challenges that your students faced during the lockdown and coming back to school in person?
I always say for those who are already marginalised, it is really, whether they're marginalised, digitally or gender-wise or class-wise, or economically, that it really has further widened that gap. And, I would worry about that further down the line for those girls or boys as well, who are, they're at that sort of vulnerable, they're, 10, 11. So in terms of, they're prepubescent. So whereas in school we would do a lot of work around SPHE and so on, around, embracing difference and so on. I think for some kids maybe at home where they mightn't have those supports.
And how did you feel when the lockdown restrictions were lifted and schools were reopened?
Oh, I was so delighted, thrilled. I've never been so thrilled to go back to school. And the kids were really just so happy to be back in school. And I suppose I would have worried that some children maybe who'd suffered with anxiety, that they might really find lockdown hard. But in some ways, I think it has actually made them more resilient. They came back in really good form, really prepared to learn. And, I suppose that they'd really missed their friends and they'd really missed the social interaction. So just for them to be back, it was wonderful, really positive. When we came back to school, I suppose all the rules around, the kids had to keep to their own pods. I suppose the fact I have to speak with a mask on the whole day, so that's really difficult because the kids can't, I give them instruction, they can't hear me, they're saying what, and then they're talking to what you say.
What supports do you think are needed to ensure that children can build up on their social skills and also make up and catch up on any education that they missed over the past year?
COVID has really made me think about our education system and about what we are teaching children. And for me, it has really crystallized some issues that I've always thought that, we should be teaching them problem solving, but problem solving that's based in real life situations. We should be teaching them critical thinking. We should be teaching them how to negotiate their way around difficult aspects of life, and maybe increase the time we give to SPHE and increase the time we give to discussion.